So what we have here is the container with black salt and Celtic gray sea salt. And we're doing a lamb prosciutto. You just coat the bottom down real quick there. And there's our cut of lamb we trimmed out of a lamb leg. You lay that fat side down on the salt. And you liberally coat it with salt. And I'm using 2 types of salt. Make sure you rub that all in. Especially when you butcher it out, you get these little pockets. And make sure you get salt in all these little pockets. Now the black salt has a very unique minerally sulfur flavor, which in the long cure I'm only using black salt in this first stage because I don't want the whole ham, ending up tasting like nothing but sulfur. But a little bit of light sulfur flavor will be a nice addition, I think, to the overall cure. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to liberally coat it down with salt today. I'm going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to let it set overnight in the salt. The salt is going to pull moisture out and dissolve. I'm going to drain the liquid, clean the container, and then I'm going to add more salt and recure. Again, I'm going to do this like this here, coating it down and letting it pull moisture for 4 or 5 days. I won't be doing videos on the repeat steps of doing this same thing over and over again. I'm just doing this one here so you can see my method on it. And you got to use either a metal, stainless steel, or non-reactive glass or plastic container. You do not want anything that will react with the salt and the meat. And I will do, once I actually go to the next step, which I'm doing a wine brine with the actual pink curing salt number 2, I will do another video on that. But this is just the first stage here. Let me get it all good and coated. Get salt down in every little crevice. All those little awkward cuts when you aren't a professional butcher like me. I'm not. It comes out horrible. It don't come out real pretty looking. But once you've got it good and coated, like so, you just simply put the lid on and let it set overnight. Now all this salt overnight is going to turn into liquid. It's going to dissolve. It's going to suck. It's going to dry, effectively pull moisture out and dry the meat. And then you're going to want to drain that, because you don't want moisture soaking back in. You're going to want to drain that, clean the container, wipe it dry, start over. Also managed to get stew meat and bone out of there, and lamb for grinding for sausage, which I'll do another video on the sausage later once I decide what kind of sausage I'm actually doing. But yeah, just make sure you got a good coverage. And like I said, when I'm done with these stages, which will be 4 or 5 days, and I actually go to a liquid brine temporarily, I will do another video on the liquid brine. But there it is. That is the start. Turn the light on, make it a little easier to see. That is the start of a good lamb prosciutto. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If If you did, like and subscribe. And share with your friends. Like I said, this process is not hard. As long as you're keeping it consistently cool and in salt while you're pulling moisture, you're going to get a good cure product at the end. Now, we'll talk a little bit about meat curing salt real quick. What I'm using right now is Himalayan black salt combined with Celtic gray sea salt. This is not a curing salt. This is just salt. You can actually put this salt on your food. When I get to the wine brine stage, I'm going to mix up cure number 2, or prog powder number 2, or Instacure number 2, however you see it advertised. And you can buy it on Amazon or, Butcher Packer or SausageMaker.com. You'll want, for doing a cure ham like this, which is going to be a dry aged ham, it's going to hang and dry, you want cure 2. Cure 1 is for like bacon and your stuff that's not going to hang and air dry. But I will be mixing that with the wine so that the meat has already been dried for 4 or 5 days and it's pulling the wine and that brine solution with the herbs and spices and the cure into the meat. Then it'll be covered in lard and hung to dry. And it'll hang to dry until it's lost 30% of its weight. But I'm not going to weigh it until after the wine brine, because I don't need to wait. I'm not going to weigh it until before the wine brine, because I need a weight on it for the curing salt, but I don't need that for this stage. This stage, I just need the regular salt. Now, traditionally, prosciutto is done with nothing but salt. It typically does not use Cure 2 or Cure 1. I am not willing to risk that. I don't have the perfect environment in Italy that they do these hams in, so I'm going to use something to make sure I prevent botulism, which is what Cure number 2 is going to do for you. And it's going to also help develop the flavors of the meat. So that would be the first video. As you can see, it's nice and covered. All the little cracks and crevices are filled in. And I'll put up the next video as soon as I get to the stage 2, which will be 5 or 6 days. Have a good day, y'all.